Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Sneha Koshy, and you're watching Beyond the Headline, where we go beyond just the rhetorics and try to take a deep dive into what's happening around us. Top focus tonight is what's happening in Nagpur. And while a lot has been said about it, there's also the Chaava link emerging to the violence. Chief Minister Fadnavis has said he doesn't want to blame the movie. He isn't blaming the movie, but people are angry after the movie. A question that we are asking is, can Chaava, can a movie be blamed for violence? Is there a change in how movies are made and perceived? Of course, the political connect and movies as a political tool has been on in India for a very long time, right from the times of Congress. But has the nature of that changed? We look into this with our experts, even as Nagpur remains tense, and we just hope peace holds on to its chance. Later at 10:30, ladies and gentlemen, do join in as we continue for the countdown to Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore to splash down on Earth. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, matter of few hours from now, they will be back on Earth after what's been a very long stay in space. But what does this really mean? What are we likely to expect in the next 2 days? What's the medical challenges before Sunita Williams? And a whole lot of things, including what's in store for India. That at 10:30. But for now, let's shift our focus to our top story. And that's the hate hit link. Ladies and gentlemen, as Nagpur remains tense after a night of horrible violence, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, while appealing for peace and warning of strict action, also said, "I am not blaming cinema, but Chaava has brought out true history of Sambhaji and Aurangzeb. The movie has ignited people's anger towards Aurangzeb. Still, I urge everyone to keep Maharashtra peaceful." Chaava is the first Bollywood film of 2025 to cross 500 crore rupees worldwide and has become the 13th highest 300 crore rupee grosser till now. The first 2025 Indian film to cross the 500 crore worldwide mark. It's based on Shivaji Savant's popular novel with the same name, and Chaava is a movie on Maratha warrior Chhatrapati Sambhaji, who took on the might of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb for around 8 years in the 17th century, carrying forward the defiant approach of his father Chhatrapati Shivaji. He kept Aurangzeb occupied in the Deccan during the second half of the reign, inflicting heavy damage on his humongous army and pride with his unmatched valor and guerrilla tactics before being betrayed by his brother-in-law. Fictional, historical, that's up for debate. The question we are asking is, can Chaava be linked or be responsible for violence in Nagpur? When VHP, Bajrang Dal, defied rules and gathered and protested, what were police doing? The relationship between cinema and state in India have always been historically intertwined. From the earliest of government, yes, from Nehru's and Indira Gandhi's times as well. I mean, that's something that keeps coming up in the political rhetoric, but is it different under Prime Minister Modi? Remember, the Sabarmati report was not only appreciated by Prime Minister Modi himself for what he called was exposing the truth, but instead was screened in the parliament, with top union ministers present along with Prime Minister Modi. And then you have the Kerala High Court today said that no doubt violence in films, visual media, can have undesirable effects on the people because it can be seen as encouraging them because you glorify the violence. But on the other hand, you have the freedom of speech and expression, and to what extent will that go? It will again depend on what is public morality. What is constitutional morality? The court also added, is too much of violence or glorifying of violence desirable, or is it just them reflecting us, what's happening in society today? one must consider whether movies are merely reflecting the violence in society. Interesting that the court said this in a way that the society literally debates this. Who's responsible? The two sides. What's in a script, you ask? Well, Padmavat, Karni Sena protested, alleged romantic dream sequence, threats, violence and vandalism delayed the release. You have Adi Purush, a modern retelling of the Ramayana, dialogues, character designs, angered Hindu groups, massive backlash that forced changes post-release. And then you have the Kerala story, accused of promoting Islamophobia, to Emergency, controversial portrayal of historical events with political overtones. The Kashmir Files, on the exodus of Kashmiri pundits, accused of a biased narrative. Movies as a tool for politics isn't new, but has the nature changed? Can a movie, in this case Chaava, be held responsible? Those are the questions that we ask our experts tonight. I'm being joined by Gautam Chintaman, who is a film historian. Good evening, Mr. Chintamani. Thank you for joining us. Shoaib Chaudhary joins us. He is a TV and film producer. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A.K. Jain joins us, former DGP for Uttar Pradesh. Thank you very much, sir. Varun Singh, a political analyst, also joins us. Good evening. Thank you, Varun Singh, for joining us. Well, let me just start with you, Gautam Chintamani. How do you look at this? I mean, you have a chief minister today say that people are angry. People are angry after what's happened, after the portrayal of what was depicted in Chaava. But I appeal for peace. I'm not blaming cinema. As somebody who's documented films, who's seen the history of it all, how do you look at the chief minister's statement today?
Good evening, everyone. And I don't think that the chief minister blamed films or a particular film in this context. I think what he was saying is perhaps the reaction that people are having, and this is independent of what the CM said. I mean, since the film has released, it has been running to packed houses, and even for people who were aware of the history or who were aware of what Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj underwent in the name of torture, or the other gurus that we have had, the Sikh gurus who underwent torture at the hand of the Mughal regime. This is well documented, well recorded. It is that a lot of people don't recall this. Maybe perhaps the average age of this country is quite young. This is not textbook material. The film, nobody is doubting the veracity of the film. The fact that people are angry, and I've had experience myself, a lot of people are surprised that how come they never knew about this, or how come they never read about this. So there is a lot in the past which, when spoken about objectively, and in the case of this film, it's well documented. History is recorded. So it is coming as a shock and a surprise to people that how come such things were not known to us, or were they to be blamed, or was the system to be blamed? The textbooks didn't include this. There are a lot of factors which go into play. I don't think that public sentiment is completely dependent on cinema. Public sentiment can get aroused basis of what they consume, what comes to them. But in this particular case, the kind of reaction that we have witnessed in Nagpur perhaps has to do more than just the film. And I don't think the CM was saying anything out of the ordinary. And I think that he was just highlighting that a lot of people are surprised. And this kind of story, I mean, even in Maharashtra, I travel quite often to the state. Even in the state, the locals who grew up there are not totally aware of the extent of the history which now the film seems to be highlighting. I think somewhere misinformation triggers violence, something which is socially popular or socially consumed evokes reaction in people. And I think that it's more of a law and order issue than a film's influence. There have been great instances in the past where films have had a, a deep impact on policy making. Back in the day when V. Shantaram had made Dahej, that film was screened in Parliament, and that changed the way lawmakers approach the subject. So I think somewhere there is a lot in the past which, when spoken about objectively, will raise a few questions. And I think, as a people, as a society, it is up to us to learn from our past and to understand what happened and why it happened. And we obviously have come a long way from that. We cannot have that kind of a reaction. But yes,
Hmm.
cinema, social media, literature out there is going to bring out stories which may come as a surprise and shock to people, and it's a collective reaction which comes after a long time. But I don't think that these targeted
Right.
attacks can be limited to the film itself.
Right. I mean, that's where I get in at this point, AK Jain. AK Jain, I mean, you may like a movie, you may not like a movie. You may agree with the movie, you may not agree with the movie. There may be many facets to it. But here's the question, AK Jain. A success of a movie is on how charged it leaves, how involved it leaves its viewers. Those who are going, who are spending the money, going to the cinemas, watching, and get impacted with it. And Indians love their cinema. So, if they're watching a movie that truly impacts them, it shows in how it stays with them for a while. So if you look at it with that lens, Chaava seems to be a huge success because so many people are talking about it in different ways whatsoever. Now, here's the question. So if Chaava is a success, and if you know emotions are charged, which obviously it is meant to do, movies, a good sporting match is, it leaves you charged. How can one disconnect law and order? I mean, it's a very simple thing. If you are saying people are charged with Chaava, but I appeal for peace, it's a given. If there is a movie that's impacted people so much, particularly in Maharashtra, why give the space for things like this to spill out? Is it essentially a failure of law and order? Why I ask that? Because the 168th section of the Civil Security Act was in place. So if you have the Bajrang Dal and the VHP going into the ground with, to burn effigies or whatever they have to, they should not have been allowed to do that. That protest should not have been allowed. They were served notice that it will not be allowed. The fact that they could go ahead, do it, and hours later, they spiraled in a way that it did, is it a complete law and order failure?
I don't think that it's a complete law and order failure. Nagpur police controlled the situation within no time. Although two DCPs were injured, DCP level officers were injured, seriously injured. So many policemen have been injured in the riots. But police commissioner himself was on the ground.
Sir, there are 34 police personnel who have been injured. Yeah. We have the numbers with us. There are 34 police personnel, one DCP, one joint commissioner of police, 2 IPS officers, 47 arrests so far, 38 vehicles damaged, 5 civilians injured.
I mean, in my opinion, whatever I have gathered from various reports, I think it was pre-planned also. That you can't have such a big mob within seconds, indulging in arson, indulging in stone pelting, and with swords in hand. So there has to be rumor mongering was there. Rumor mongering was there. It is absolutely correct. But people don't come out in such large numbers just because there is a rumor. Yes, you are absolutely correct that VHP and Bajrang Dal should not have been given permission if 163 is in force in Nagpur, Section 144 of the old Act. If it's there, then permission should not have been given. I don't know whether they took permission for it or not. If they had asked for permission, permission should not have been given or should have been given for limited number of people, because people have a right to express their views. You are absolutely correct. The emotions are charged in Maharashtra. These Sambhaji Maharaj and Chhatrapati Shivaji, they are treated as gods in Maharashtra. And the facts which have come out in Chaava, so many people were not aware of it, and the way the gory details have come out. So naturally, people are charged, and they think that they have at least the right to protest at district level. So I think they were simply protesting. They did not do anything which would aggravate the situation or which would encourage the Muslims to come out on roads, because I don't think there was any slogan shouting or in front of a mosque or any such thing. And there was, I think, rumor mongering, and that is why I'm saying that this was premeditated, and there was some mischief, because outsiders were also there in large numbers. I have heard to Muslims also on TV channels, and they are accusing that outside people had come and they had torched their vehicles also. Not only vehicles of Hindus and bikes, but even of Muslims have been torched. So there will be inquiry. A lot of agencies are working at Nagpur, and I think very soon all the culprits will be nabbed. All the WhatsApp groups which were active and who all were members and who all were given calls.
No, you have a point, Occasion. I'm sure probe will happen, the inquiry will happen, the arrests will happen. Hopefully, we will get to know how this all panned out real soon. But the question is, in a charged environment, which the Chief Minister says people are angry after a movie, was what was done as a preventive measure enough? If I can get in Shoaib Chaudhary at this point. Shoaib Chaudhary, here's the question. You know, have things changed? A lot of people politically say that, you know, movies have been a tool. Even in the past, movies have been a tool. And they are a tool now. But has that changed? The manner in which these movies are made, the manner in which these movies are portrayed, and the manner in which the movies are consumed, has that politically changed?
No, let me begin with you mentioned the Chief Minister's statement who started speaking against Chaava. Only until yesterday, the same Chief Minister was celebrating the success of this film. Now that thing has gone out of his hand and he is not able to control the law and order situation in the state, he has started speaking against the film Chaava. In the first place, they celebrate the film, and now when they are not able to control the violence, they start calling out on the actors and the director. You know, it is very, very unfortunate. You know, what Mr. Gautam Chintaman just mentioned, that, you know, this is a real story and it happened in the past. All right, may have happened. I'm not contesting whether it was what they've shown in the film is right or wrong. But as responsible citizens, as responsible filmmakers, is it not our responsibility not to make films which are which are made to incite violence against one particular community? I'll give you an example. I was born and raised in a city called Meerut, which was the riot capital in the 80s and 90s. You know, I have seen many riots. I've seen suppression of minorities. I've seen the killings with my own eyes. I've seen burnt houses. But it has never affected my psyche, because those are a few days that it used to happen, and we just moved on with our lives. But today, the things have changed completely. There are politicians who are 24/7 inciting violence against the minorities in this country. And I don't know if that is going to change. If I start making a film on the Hashimpura, Malyana killings, which I know for sure when my Abba was an MLA there, and I've seen those happening in front of my own eyes. People were killed at point blank range. If I start making a film on those stories, will that be allowed to run? It will never get to see the light of the day. It will never reach the theaters. That's how the strange situation we are living in. So let us stop funding the BJP. I blame the BJP for funding such films. It is clearly funded. The Kerala story, Kashmir Files, these are the most violent films ever made in this Indian film history, and they should never have been allowed in the first place. First, you drive up, you make statements, you drive up the minorities against the wall, and when they react, you start arresting them. Just now, somebody mentioned that law will take its own course. The former DGP just mentioned. What will happen? Who is going to be arrested? Do you think I can give it in writing? No VHP, no Bajrang Dal activists will be arrested who are responsible for inciting violence in Nagpur. Only a few poor Muslims will be sent behind bars. And we have been seeing this. We have been watching this for years now.
Okay. No, I hear you. I get what you're saying. But Shoaib Chaudhary, out of what you have said, there are 2 points that I want to build on. But before I go to Gautam Chintamani to get his response to a point, that why make movies that are inciting violence? And I want him, from a historian's perspective, to respond to that. But allow me, Mr. Chintamani, before I come to you, let me just go across to Varun Singh. Varun Singh, I can see you nod, disagree with what Shoaib has said. Go ahead.
To be very honest, what Shoaib did was the absolute card that the minority have been playing in this country for a very long time. Black Friday was a movie made on the 1993 blast. And if you see the movie has completely given the side of the Muslims. And at that point, there was no outrage by the Hindus. Even when Sharad Pawar said that he cooked up 13 blasts and said that it happened in a Muslim area, which never happened. All the blasts happened in Hindu areas. We never saw Hindus doing anything. So he cleverly played the Muslim victim card, which has been done over here also in Nagpur riots. In Nagpur, the VHP and Bajrang Dal held protest. Their protest ended. There was no riots or nothing happened over there. There was no inciting. They have been protesting for a very long time. Let me complete, Sneha. They asked for police permission, after which across the state there were multiple protests. There was not only a protest in Nagpur that was done, there were multiple protests that took place in the state.
What kind of a protest is it?
Let me just correct you here. Varun, I'll come to you. No, Shoaib, just a minute. Shoaib, just a minute. Varun, I will come back to you. You will finish your statement. But let me just bring in one fact, and that is, there was a section 168 that was in place in Nagpur, based on which you could not burn effigies, and there were effigies which were burnt.
Exactly.
So,
let me be very clear.
You may have whatever argument you want in terms of the movies, but the police should have moved in. And that should have stopped right there when that effigy was burned, because under 68, it should not have happened. It happened. So that's one point. Now, how do you argue that it did not charge further or not? But go ahead, make your statement.
Absolutely. Yes. See, the police inaction over here is completely on the roads for everyone to see. The police for 2 hours, if you hear the BJP MLA, he says that he had been calling the police for 2 hours when in Movinpura, that area in Mahal, in Nagpur, because I'm the only one sitting in Maharashtra and Mumbai right now who can tell you all this, that in Movinpura, when the MLA tried calling the police didn't turn up. And what did they turn up with? With lathis to target these people who were burning vehicles, who burnt shops. Let me be very clear. There is a complete, if you have to blame anyone, then you have to blame the police's inaction, the police's law and order failure. The police. And secondly, let's not play the victim card over here कि Muslims को हमेशा suppress किया जाता है BJP के नेताओं को. I never saw Mr. Shoaib Chaudhary naming Asauddin Owaisi or his brother who had said 15 minutes khali karo and what all nonsense they have.
Why are you only holding the police responsible? Are you
okay? Are you
trying to say that the chief minister is not responsible for inciting violence?
Okay, Varun and Shoaib, I allowed you to speak about the minorities and how you perceive that angle. I allowed both of you to speak. Let me bring back our discourse to the course that we are talking about. Varun, hold it. I gave both of you equal chance in terms of laying down what you thought, but the subsequent question is going to be from me. Varun, so essentially, are you saying it doesn't matter what movie needs to be made? Let the movie be made. Rest what happens is the law and order's point. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I am no Shoaib Chaudhary to say that only movies where Hindus are shown badly should be shown. I say everything should be shown. 40 days Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was tortured by Aurangzeb. He killed his own brother. He killed his own son. He put his father inside, in the jail. He presented his father, his own brother's head as a trophy. And if that is being shown, if that is being said, how is it inciting anyone? How can that incite anyone? I think Shoaib undermines his own community and the intelligence of the community.
Shoaib, quick response before I go to Gautam Chintamani. No. Don't make those personal statements. I don't think. No, Varun. I don't think those personal statements. I'm the anchor here. I don't think. No, Varun. I don't think those statements are welcome here, Varun. No, Varun. Varun,
Yeah.
we've been here on shows. I don't think I expect or accept these statements. These kind of personal statements have no place in this show. Let's just argue,
No,
discuss,
I made no
debate,
personal
whatever
statement.
you want, the issue that we are doing.
I made no
Let's just
personal
stay. I mean, his and his community, that's not the thing that we really want. Shoaib, I would just want you to look further, go into the issue that we are discussing. How do you respond to what Varun says? Let everything and anything that needs to be shown, including the movie that you were suggesting that you will not be allowed to make.
No, first of all, I just missed that personal statement which you just mentioned, what
I made
Varun
no
has just
personal
made
statement.
about
I
me.
said-
And I am very
said-
capable
No,
of handling these idiots.
Sneha,
I think
I can take them to task and I'm very capable of
No,
doing
Shoaib,
that.
no,
Now, moving ahead.
Shoaib, you can't do that. Shoaib, you can't do that. Guys,
No, I
Shoaib,
missed hearing
Varun,
that.
I
could
think
not
just
hear
hold
what he
it.
said.
Shoaib, Varun, I'm
I
sorry.
could not hear.
Shoaib, it's okay. If you couldn't, I have taken that. I'm the anchor here. Shoaib and Varun, I think both of you, Shoaib particularly, I think name calling, all
right, I'll
these
answer your
things,
question.
community sentences
I'll
is
answer
not
your
going to work
question.
on this show. No, I'm really sorry. I do not expect this out of you both. Please, Shoaib, back to you.
I'll answer your question. Please go ahead. I'll answer your question. Please go ahead.
Shoaib, my
Sneha,
question
Sneha.
to you
I
is,
couldn't hear your question.
Varun is
Second,
saying,
Sneha,
why?
just 1
No,
minute.
Varun,
1 minute. No.
Varun, indulge me. Varun, indulge me. Varun, indulge me. Hold it. Varun, indulge me. Okay, Varun, go ahead.
By saying that people get incited by seeing movie, he is undermining the intelligence of a big community, which I think is wrong. This is my statement. I never made any personal statement on him. I said he is undermining the community by saying that they get incited by seeing movies or all these things. That was my statement. There was no personal statement. And listen, I'm no idiot.
Shoaib,
I have my
go
own
ahead.
degrees
Go ahead.
to prove.
No, you are definitely my panelist. Otherwise, you'll not be called here. We have huge respect for you as well. So, Varun, that doesn't take away anything from who you are and what you stand
Absolutely.
for. Shoaib,
Yeah.
go ahead. Please respond to what Varun said.
I actually could not hear. Can you ask me a question? You asked me a question which I missed.
Shoaib, my
I'll
question
answer
to
that.
you is, Varun is saying, make any movie that needs to be made. Make any and every movie that needs to be made. What is the problem?
No, there's a problem when you make stories on when you're trying to make fake stories like Kerala Files, where the incident happened that only one girl had been sent to join ISIS, and the filmmakers, who is a hate monger and should be sent behind bars, the Prime Minister and all chief ministers were supporting that filmmaker, who ideally should have been put behind bars because he has shown a fake figure of 32,000 girls. He claimed that 32,000 girls had been sent to ISIS. So these are the kind when you create false narratives through films, and this is a clear incitement of violence. These kind of things should not be allowed. What is the sense about doing?
I thought we were discussing Chaava.
Okay, very quick response from Varun
Oh, it's
before
on the same
I
thing.
finally go to
Chaava
Gautam
is
Chintaman.
just in the progression, and the kind of people who have made Chaava are from the same breed, who have been supported and funded by the BJP. I will say that very clearly.
Okay.
Right from a
Good,
Kashmir
good.
files
Okay,
to
Varun,
emergency
Varun,
to...
Varun, what Shoaib is saying is also something that often comes to the fore. This is also an allegation that comes to the fore many times from the political detractors as well. So respond, Varun, before I move on.
I think, to be very honest, let's discuss Chaava. Chaava is not a fake story. It is well-documented story. And if A.R. Rahman is the music director of that movie, I think he is still a Muslim person. It is not, the movie comprises of Muslim actors too. And there are many people who have acted in it. And there are many people who in Maharashtra, who in this country respect Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and are very well aware about what happened to him.
I think there's no
There
doubt
is no
about
fake
that.
thing involved in it. There is no fakery involved in that movie. So, Mr. Shoaib, if you have problems with any other movie, you can go criticize about it.
I'm referring to actual.
Who's stopping you?
I'm referring to actual historians.
अरे बाबा,
All right?
आपके
I am
historians
referring to actual
historian नहीं
historians.
होते क्या?
And not
आप कौन से history की बात करते
film
हो?
historian right here.
Oh, please, no film historian. It is not made on a film historian book.
Varun, Shoaib, I've stayed with both of you for quite a bit. I've allowed both of you your time. Gautam Chintamani, Varun and Shoaib are two sides that often get spoken of, debated, even when you're having a discourse on movies. Yes, it got very heated, but this is also the sentiments that people carry when they're watching movies, and movies that also have been quite in the realm of controversy. Put this in perspective for us, Gautam Chintamani.
Here in this particular case, and we have seen that in the past also when it comes to films which can evoke such passions, the pattern of violence here, it does not seem like a spontaneous flare up. It reeks of a deeper orchestration, politically motivated, and also in the garb of communal unrest. It has happened in the past.
That's Chaava.
Yeah,
but is there something beyond? Is there something beyond?
So I'm saying that when it comes to talking about history, it is going to evoke different reactions from different people. Like, to give you an example, today, if I were to make a film on Pandit Nehru, I cannot show Pandit Nehru smoking because the censor board will not allow me. But it's a fact. He did smoke. There are photographs that are documented. There's documented photo proof. So it's a very, very thin line when you are looking at history and when you're looking at, either recent history or history back in the past. And especially when it impacts people. So, you look at this whole thing. Can we disregard the fact that it could be an orchestrated event to destabilize a government which enjoyed a fantastic majority in the recent elections, which also suggests that, people from all communities and all religions may have voted for them. I'm just throwing it out there. So to say that a film can evoke such passion is completely, is not false at all. But the fact of the matter remains that people will have different kind of reactions. People will have questions about cinema, film, which impact so much. But to say that you should not make films, I think that's undermining people's intelligence. And also, just to sum it up very quickly, if there was potentially anything wrong with the way facts were being depicted in this particular case, the censor board would have taken notice. It has done in the past with any religious or any politically affiliated subject that has come out. So it's a very responsible decision by the censor board for this film to come out. I don't doubt that. I think that people will try to take political mileage out of such events.
Okay, we'll also have to see which way the probe goes, because while you said that could this be an attempt to destabilize, there's the other side to it. Remember, a lot of BJP leaders themselves were there talking about the Aurangzeb's tomb. So I'm just putting in those two pictures. I have Shoaib's hand up. Shoaib, you want to make a point, but I wanted AK Jain to have the last word. Shoaib, I'll give you 40 seconds if that's okay. Make your point.
No, just a very quick point. Taking from Mr. Gautam that the film should be made and leave it to the wisdom of the audience. In that case, that just helped me understand. See this is Times of India. This is about my film, a biopic which is made on the life of the founder of Aligarh Muslim University, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, which is running on international OTT platforms. But the government-run Prasar Bharati refused to run it on Doordarshan and its newly launched OTT, where they run films like Kerala Story, they take films like Kashmir Files, but they refuse to take a story, a biopic made on the life of an all-Indian hero from 200 years ago. And I blame them. They are refusing to take it because it is made on an Indian Muslim. It is made on the founder of Aligarh Muslim University. That's how these narratives work. This is how this government is functioning.
I would
in
have
this
liked Chintamani to respond to you, but I'm totally out of time. I'll have to leave it at that and maybe take this up. Sure, you've made your point. I gave you 40 seconds. I think just allow me. I gave you the time to speak. Let's just keep it there. You've made your point, allowed you your point. Very quickly, AK Jain, as a police officer, when you see movies come out, and it's not just a recent, it's been happening, when you have historical movies with political overtones come up, as a police officer, as somebody who was a law enforcer not too long back, how do you look at it? I mean, are you prepped that it may be a very charged environment and there needs to be proactive measures taken to ensure law and order? Is that a concern? Is that something that the police look at?
I don't think riots were expected at a place like Nagpur because of this movie. And I also fail to understand why people, especially Muslim community, is aligning themselves with Aurangzeb. They have nothing to do with Aurangzeb. Hindus have nothing to do with Aurangzeb.
I don't think they are. No, I don't think they are. No, I don't.
Yes.
No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I mean, I'll have to say it outrightly because, I mean, across communities for that matter, between Chhatrapati Maharaj as well as Aurangzeb, I think it's very clear who would. So I think let's not get that line. AK Jain, my question is about you as a law enforcer. Let's just stick to that.
I agree with you that when such movies are there, atmosphere gets surcharged, and but that surcharging will be there in the initial stages of 2-3 days, 4 days. Chaava was released long time back, and now it is going to be on OTT platforms, and people will watch it who have not watched it in cinema halls. But I don't think such movies surcharge people to an extent that communal riots will take place. I don't think so. I don't think that any special arrangements are required. But
all right.
A close watch should be kept. Intelligence machinery should be geared up in the districts that to keep watch on unruly elements. And if there is some reaction, then action should be taken against those unruly elements.
All right. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me. Gautam Chintamani, Shoaib Chaudhary, AK Jain, Varun Singh and Shoaib Chaudhary. Thank you for that very heated exchange. It just shows the two sides of India as well. Gautam Chintamani, AK Jain, thank you very much for getting in your responses. It's time for a very short break as we leave you to just think over what's happened. On the other side, do stay tuned as we look into the countdown to Sunita Williams and her team splashing down on Earth.